The time is now. The time is now to mend relationships with our family members and friends. That means husband, wives, your children, or whomever. Those relationships could be mended. Because what happens is, if the longer you take to mend those relationships, it starts to grow root. And you don't want a root to be growing on something that happened that you could have fixed right then, because you're stubborn. You're stubborn. The person who is going through it is also stubborn, and nobody wants to talk to each other because nobody wants to be the first one to say, I'm sorry, or the first one to apologize to their loved ones or their friends. So please, if we could, we want our kids to love one another and not fight amongst each other, right? So why are we fighting amongst each other as adults? We don't have to fight amongst each other as adults. We could come together and we could say, I apologize. Because if you take the time to listen to that person and what that person have to say, and like I always tell my children, be quick to listen and slow to answer. Because in the beginning, the person is going to discuss how they feel, okay? And as they discuss how they feel, then in the middle, we tend to just stop that person. It's the middle when you really hear the real issue. And had you waited until the end part of it, then you would hear them apologize to you. That's where the apology comes in. You know, the apology comes in at the end, because the first it's just a three-part thing. It has to have a beginning, it has to have a middle, and it has to have an end. But when it's time to apologize, we get lost in the middle. Remember I told you all about that middle in previous clips? It's the middle that we get lost as human beings. So let's not get lost in the middle. Sit down and listen. Don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry. Okay? God has forgiven us for our sins. We want God to forgive us, but we don't want to give one another. Come on, man. Time is not waiting on nobody. That's just like we have a property, and we're waiting on time to find monies to build on this property. While we're waiting on time to find monies to build on this property, say for instance, you done clear this property down, okay? Just pure dirt there. Now here it is, you end up losing the job, or something didn't work out with your family, or the partner that you had, it didn't work out. Everything went down the drain, right? But here it is, you still have this property that was cleared down. And what you could do on the property now that is cleared down, because you don't have the money to build on it right now, you could start planting. The time that you take worrying about this thing and worrying about all these different things that are happening here on this earth, things are going to happen regardless of what's going on. But you know what's happening? Time is not waiting on us. So that property that is already cleared down now is growing up with these big old trees. When those same trees that are growing, that are weed, that is on these properties, could have been fruit trees. And you could have also planted grass. So when that money comes, you are able now to build on that property, also to eat of the fruit trees on the property, and also to walk on the grass on that property. Most persons, when they have a property, they get the money, they build the house. Then afterwards, they take the trees and plant it around the property, and then you put down the grass. No, let's do it a different way now, because that way, it only works for a certain amount of people. Now, you do have some wise people that are out there right now that are planting their fruits and vegetables and the grass on their property while waiting on that property to be able to live on that. But you don't have to wait until you have the money. The time is now. You can do something now. Even if you don't have the money to hire a tractor, you can imagine if you go on that property and take a cutlass and just chop down those weeds. Chop those weeds down one by one. Chop them trees down one by one. You'll be surprised in a couple months you'll have that property clear. without having to pay a dime, and then start planting on that property. Get those children up at the house, what you have sitting down waiting in there. Show them and teach them something to do. Okay? Because once you show them and teach them how to wait, everybody would have the respect for that property when the house is built on that property, because everybody would have chipped in to make this happen. Time is not waiting. I would say time is an enemy. Because you have some women and some men don't even want to get older. Because why? They don't want to age. They don't want their gray hair to come in. They just want to remain young forever. No. Let's look back at the story of the Israelites. If they had, at that time when they went in and they peeked into the city, the promised land, and had they went in and just take capture of everything in the promised land, they wouldn't have had to be lost in the wilderness for whole 40 years. They had the time to go in there and do what they had to do and living a nice, beautiful life. But because they saw some giants in the line, remember when on previous clips I told you all, face your bullies? Because when you face the bullies, they're not no bully no more. When they still had to come back to go face the bullies in the line? No. Face them bullies now. The time is now for us to do these things. Because guess what? If we continue to let time run away with us, here's what's going to happen. You saw the International Bazaar on one of my clips. You saw the government wait, or whomever it is that was responsible for those properties. They still waiting for somebody to come in and solve that problem. No, we could come together as one and we could solve it as a nation. We don't have to always wait on the outsiders to come in. We could support one another's now, at this time. Now a person's just waiting. You know how many persons have already died waiting? A lot of people going home waiting. We don't have to wait any longer. Even looking at the property that's in the back of me. Something to do. Now, had when these things came through and happened to these properties and these hurricanes and all this stuff come through and everybody got together and make this thing happen now, you know how many people would have had jobs? Time affects everybody. It does not only just affect you and I. It affects everybody and it spreads. Okay? It spreads like wildfire and it's not waiting. While you're waiting, we're getting older and we're dying waiting. Please, let's not die. Let's not die with that gift. Again, that has to do with your gift. Using the gift what God gave you to make these things happen in our life. We don't have to sit around waiting for these things to happen, because the longer we sit around, the deterioration of the world happens. The deterioration in the lives of your family, the deterioration in the life of a husband and a wife, and the deterioration in the lives of your children. Because once those children are grown, then they move to a different country just to get away from you, because they're still sad about the things what happened when they was a child. And because you're the grown up, you didn't want to say, I'm sorry, could you please forgive me? Let's mend this relationship now. The child is already grown, they get married, now they have children, and now you're all alone and can't even see your grandkids. They don't want you in the grandkids' life because you didn't mend things with them when they were a child. And you're sitting down there and you're dying alone. No. Let's mend these relationships now, because time is now. Not mending it for families because Christmas is coming, or Valentine is coming, or whatever type of holiday is coming when a person is looking for a gift. We could mend those relationships now so we could have a better life. And guess what? You become very healthy. When you mend things that are broken, you become healthy. You have a lot of broken family that are out there, a lot of broken family, a lot of broken children that are still out there as an adult. And because they're broken as a child, they don't even know how to deal with their family. That's why you have so many single mother homes that are out there, because they weren't taught how to forgive and how to mend things as a child. Now they become a grown woman and a grown man, and they become this angry person. So if you don't do it for me, and you love yourself, and you love your child, you love your family, you love your friend, do it for them. What does it do for you? You now could feel better. You could walk with your head held up high. You have a few houses you can go by and visit this Christmas. You have places where you can travel and play with your grandchildren, okay? You have a wife now, we can love you for who you are, or a husband that can love you for who you are. Why? Because you now is able to say, sorry, could you please forgive me? So all I'm saying today, love hard. Time is not waiting on nobody. It's no perfect time. The time is now. The time is not tomorrow. The time is not yesterday or years from now. The time is now to mend these relationships with our family members and friends. Okay? I just want y'all to be encouraged out there and know that I love y'all. I'm not being harsh by saying things like this, because things like this went on in my life. But what I didn't do is I did not let it last for long. Yes, as humans, we're going to get mad with one another. But don't go to bed mad, especially you husband and wives. Don't go to bed mad. Because I know we're not as forgiving as our children. Because say, for instance, we punish the child. Time is in the morning, that child loves us still. You know, depending on the age. Now, if it's a big child, it could go on for years. But as we go on in life, we need to love hard, love one another, and come together as one and help one another. So if you help each businesses in Freeport, we don't always have to go to the United States to shop, you know. We have shops right here at home, because time is you already adding the shipping price, times you already adding VAT, times you already adding the tickets together, times you already adding the car rental to come back home. We would have had those same things in the local stores in Port Lucaya, in the local stores downtown, and our little mom and pop stores. So let's help one another. We have to come together as one to make this happen today. So please subscribe to my channel today by pressing the red button. Also hit like, and you can leave a comment there for me. Thank you. Hi guys, welcome to 17 Shop here at Freeport, Grand Bahama. Yes, they are fully stocked for this season. I was so excited walking through the store. I saw something for everybody. I wanted to buy them all for myself, but I thought about you. I wanted you to feel like how I feel. So come on down. The staff here are very friendly. They will welcome you with a smile and open arms. Their store hours are from 9:30 a.m. through the weekday to 6 p.m. On the weekend, 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.